All right, good afternoon, everybody. Doc Severson here with Mav.
Hello,
You're
everyone.
listening to Ready, Set Crypto today on Wednesday, the 28th of April. So hopefully you're checking us out live. If you're watching on a replay, welcome aboard as well, too. Make sure you watch in double speed and we'll make twice as much sense. Where's everybody coming in from? All right, we got a lot of people online already. Let us know where you guys are coming in from and go ahead and hit that like bell.
Let's beat the algorithm, please.
Right. Beat the algo. Beat the algo. I'm coming to you guys from beautiful Greenville, South Carolina. The weather is absolutely magnificent this week. We have Jason coming in from Rhode Island. Let's see. Dan is from Liverpool. Payments from London. Fantastic. The Netherlands. Fantastic. All right. Cleveland, Ohio. Grew up in Lakewood, man.
Cleveland rocks.
All right. Dom from Toronto. Hey, Dom. Northwest Arkansas. Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, I talked about the train. Brighton Rock. All right, we have somebody coming in from Flavortown, Columbus, Ohio, Edmonton, the Scottish Highlands. Fantastic. Glencoe is probably one of the most phenomenal places I've ever been to in my life. Riga, Latvia, Croatia, West Coast. It's not the best coast. Hey, Koob, how you doing out there? We got Sydney, we got Manchester, we got North Carolina, Pakistan, Spain, and the lockdown capital of the world, Ontario. I think there's a lot of places that would probably fight you for that one. All right, everybody, welcome aboard. Glad to see everybody out there. We've got a few things to discuss with you here today. We'll be in and out of your hair in no time flat.
Or in your case, no hair at all.
Right. I set that one up. That was a slam dunk. I was hoping you'd take the baton on that one.
Alrighty. Well, for those who are just tuning in, not been with us before, we're Ready, Set Crypto. We're here to kind of unbullshit the crypto space. We don't take any sort of money to be, telling you what to buy or anything like that. We cut through the noise and we're here to tell you like it is. So to that end, I think we are in quite an opportune time. And for those who've been around one of our streams before, you kind of know the general schedule of things, but I will challenge you, stick with me for at least 10 minutes here, because I'm going to talk about something I think is going to be definitely worth your time. There was a question last week about, hey, how do I know how to make money with this stuff? Or like, there seems to be a lot of these events that come around, these things that, it's the market buys the rumor, sells the news. And there's always these, it seems like there's always these, like, it's a carnival of opportunity, right? There's always something happening in the crypto space. It's 24/7, 365. It never shuts down. It never shuts off. So there's definitely always places to make money, coins to be trading, and opportunities to be looking for. So that's a great question. And I'm going to speak to that right now. This, in my opinion, is the easiest, most like just surefire way to make money in the crypto space. You have to do a little bit of work to make it work. You have to know a little bit of things. You have to have a kind of implicit understanding of what makes something significant. For example, does a release of a 1.4.1 patch sound more significant than the V2.0 patch or release or whatever, things like that. So long as you kind of get just implicitly what is more important, that will help you with this strategy. So to that end, let's dig into some of the coins that I'm watching right now for May and kind of just later on this year that I believe are absolutely going to pump and absolutely going to be golden opportunities for you to make money with. So let's dig in. Let's do a little bit of screen share action here.
All right, knock our lights out here.
All right. Cool. Alrighty. Let's make sure I can actually see this.
Looking good here.
In the way.
Looking good.
Alrighty. So one thing I wanted to just briefly mention before we get started here is for those who were on the stream last week where I talked about opportunities making money with Ethereum 2.0 staking coins. If you didn't watch that one, and you didn't see that, or you just tuned in for a couple of minutes, you missed out. Because if we look at the current categories by market capitalization and what has been doing the best in the last 24 hours, you go all the way down to number 35, Ethereum 2.0 staking. It's currently number one over the last 24 hours. So I don't want to say I told you so, but I think I know what I'm talking about sometimes. So that was a really good opportunity. I think it's going to continue to be a great opportunity leading up into Ethereum 2.0's release probably around July or so. So that's a great segue into what we're talking about today, which is the top 8 coins that I'm watching right now. And immediately, if you're familiar with how I break these down, this should be a little bit surprising because normally I'm talking about a lot smaller coins, but here we go. We got Ethereum, we got Polkadot, we got Uniswap, we got Chainlink, we got VeChain, Theta, Neo, PancakeSwap, all within the top 30. There are no microcaps here today. And let me tell you the reason why. Today, we're talking about things that are coming up, releases, some sort of announcement, some sort of big, release, update, whatever, swap. And these are going to be high yield opportunities for those who get in early and hold up to, about around the time that the event happens. Again, it's buy the rumor, sell the news. It's kind of this gold-plated rule that doesn't always work. You have to be using, I say, 2 rules with this. The first is that you have to be dealing with a coin that people know about, right? Everybody knows about Ethereum. Everybody knows about, Polkadot. Everybody knows about Uniswap at this point. So if you're talking about a release on a small coin, and maybe you'll drive a little bit of traction. Maybe you'll get like a 1-day pump and that's it. Whereas Ethereum is going to keep pumping up until the release of, the London hard fork in around July. We're going to cross our fingers on the one because we know how Ethereum goes. But this is just such an easy way to, all you have to do is a little bit of homework. I call this the Wall Street Journal for millennials. All you have to do is kind of just spend a little bit of time understanding what's coming up in the space, who's doing what. And this is just about as surefire gold-plated strategy as you get. The only second rule is that there has to be the volume that supports it. You have to have an active trading market for there to be the case for this. For the majority of, I would say, 2018 and especially 2019, the market was just so wishy-washy. There was not enough of a just passive audience looking for opportunities like these, looking for these sort of pumpamentals, if you want to call them that. It just wasn't the right market for chasing these sort of opportunities. You still would have a little bit of pump and dumps here and there, but it just wasn't the same sort of, surefire winners that we are definitely dealing with today. Now that we have a lot more trading volume, we have, multi-trillion-dollar market capitalization for the entire space. We have the capital to support this strategy. So it's time to use it. And I think definitely as we go into the summer this year, where things tend to get a little bit chaotic in some ways, a little bit volatile, just historically, this is going to be one of the best ways to make money this year. I guarantee it, because you're just going to see this is like almost, it's like a law in the crypto space. It's something that just repeats over and over and over again. So let's dig into some of these. Let's look at Ethereum. Obviously, they're doing the Ethereum 2.0 release. Big deal. They're moving from proof of work to proof of stake. this has been worked on for, the better part of a decade at this point. They've been working on this. This has been coming up, and it's where their competitors have made up a lot of ground on them, taking a lot of market share because they're able to move a lot faster than, the big boy Ethereum. But once Ethereum makes this transition, it's going to change the whole crypto space. So definitely this is something to pay attention to, both for Ethereum as well as the overall crypto space. Another one is going to be things like Polkadot starting to have token minting, or Uniswap releasing their V.3. Again, remember what I was talking about. That sounds like a pretty important release, right? Versus, just like some little micro incremental release. So Uniswap being the biggest DeFi exchange, decentralized exchange, I think that's going to be something to pay attention to, and what's going to change for DeFi as a result of that. We've got Chainlink tomorrow, actually, is going to be talking about their new white paper. So I definitely anticipate some action related to that. I think there's going to be some things they're going to be talking about. Chainlink is definitely one of those ones that is trying to do everything. So we'll see if they can match that ambition. But it's cool. I think they're doing great stuff. VeChain is also working towards some of their new releases as well. Theta, same deal. They're going to be working towards their mainnet 3.0. Again, pretty important sounding, right? Same thing with Neo. They've been working on 3.0 for years now, and they're finally getting close. So that's why we've seen their price really start to skyrocket. Much to my chagrin, I sold way too early on that one. But it's still a fundamentally sound project. It's doing a lot of cool stuff. And finally, PancakeSwap. They don't have a specific date yet, but they're also going to be releasing their V2.0. Their main competitor to SushiSwap and Uniswap. So they're doing some really cool stuff. I really like their platform and what they're doing. All right, so here's where it gets interesting. Let me teach you how to get these results. So let me teach you how to fish. How's that? Let me show you the best way to find these events and basically know about this stuff before everybody else does, because everybody else seems to want to democratize their information sources, go out to Twitter and Reddit and God forbid 4chan to look for, what's the next big thing? What's the next hot coin? And really the answer is staring you in the face. We already know what the hot coins are. We already know what the overall market structure looks like. We just have to pay attention to those, top 50 coins and what they're doing. And then, we can put aside some capital and go chase some moonshots. But the majority of your capital, as far as I'm concerned, especially if you don't want to get blown up in this space, which is very easy to do, you should be devoting the majority of your capital to, some risk-averse assets in the form of just the big boys, the large cap assets. They're going to do the best to protect your capital as well as appreciate it. And if you can allocate it in a smart and strategic way by getting in front of some of these, major releases like this, you're going to do a really great job of multiplying your portfolio with the biggest cryptocurrencies out there. I mean, if we went to CoinMarketCap today and just looked at like Ethereum making a 2-3% move over the last 24 hours versus everything else kind of being wishy-washy, that's huge. That's a ton of capital moving around. That 2.5, 2.6% move in Ethereum is way more significant than the 13% move with Dogecoin, even though Dogecoin is moving more. But Dogecoin doesn't command the same sort of market structure network that Ethereum has. Ethereum is the hub with many, many, many spokes. So what Ethereum is doing, I want to be paying attention to. And that's where we can be definitely appreciating our assets or capital that way. So anyways, back to the strategy. So what you do is you go to coinmarketcal.com, not CoinMarketCap, CoinMarketCal as in calendar. Bookmark this. This is the Wall Street Journal of the crypto space, as far as I'm concerned, because this will tell you what's going on. This will help you cut through the noise. And it's great because they crowdsource their information, but they also crowdsource the voting structure as well. So everything's being vetted on here. And so what we can do to really help ourselves out here. So let's, go back to the main default page here. All you got to do is hit highlights up here, and then you say like trending, for example. We could also sort by significant, and that's what I like to do. So this is going to show us all the significant updates, releases, etc., that are coming out. So you can see some of the ones I was just talking about. Ethereum, Cardano is talking about some events. I don't really care too much about like conferences and events, but sometimes they announce things at those sorts of events, so maybe it's something to pay attention to. But things like Polkadot doing their tokens minting, Uniswap doing V3, VeChain doing their beta, Theta doing their mainnet. These is where you're going to see a lot of this stuff. So check this, every couple of days, every week, just to see what's happening, what's new, if we want to sort by, what's hot right now. Maybe this will help us find some events or releases that are coming up that are going to be, with some of the smaller coins. Like I've never heard of Shiba Swap before, but hey, they're doing some exchange tokenomic design. Maybe that's significant. I don't know. This will help you find some things to look into, places to investigate more. And again, this is just one of the best, most surefire ways to make money in this space, because you're getting ahead of, the dumb money and in a lot of cases, even the smart money, because the smart money is going to figure out, what's releasing, what's coming out, maybe a couple of weeks in advance, right? They're going to hear about it from whatever little, group they're a part of or Discord or whatever. And they're going to get in before all the dumb money FOMO's in right when the release is happening. And then they get stuck with the bag at the top. I don't know if you've been part of that kind of event, but you know what it's like. The smart money, the real smart money, is going to be looking out months in advance, going to be looking for these major updates, major releases, major milestones, and, just making a calendar of this stuff. That's really all it is you're just putting dots on the calendar and saying, okay, Ethereum's doing this at this date. Polkadot's doing this at this date. Maybe I want to get in a month in advance or whatever, because I anticipate that it's going to, just gain a lot in advance of that release or whatever. And, it's also worth paying attention to the release schedule or the communications going out from the team involved with that. So let's, for example, look at Ethereum. If it looks like Ethereum is going to push their release, that's going to have a negative effect on their price, obviously. But that doesn't mean it's time to throw in the towel. It just means that now it's time to trade the downside. Maybe use that as a buying opportunity, because it's not like they've canceled the update. It's not like they're abandoning V 2.0. They've literally staked the entire project on at this point. So yeah, maybe there might be another delay. Maybe it might get pushed until Q3 or the end of the year. It's definitely happened before. It's definitely been the prerogative of Ethereum. But the important thing is that it's still going to be a massive opportunity to make money. You just have to be patient. And I think that's the best way I can summate this strategy, this process, is just patience through, the long vision, the long view. And then, maybe take a more granular approach with trading and being in more of the market space with the smaller cap coins or the high volume stuff. But as far as investing is concerned, I think this is one of the best ways to make money. And I think it's something that you should be aware of. So hopefully that was a little bit insightful. Hopefully I answered the question from last week about, how do I get in front of these big trends that are going on? How do I make money with it, et cetera? coinmarketcal.com. Look for these events, democratize your information sources, look for, big announcements in the space of news, et cetera. Use that to study the trends, use that to understand what's going on in the space, what's happening, what is important to the space, because, the space is changing all the time. Things are shifting all the time. Right now, everybody's talking about DeFi and NFTs, but I guarantee you in 6 months, it's going to be something else. That's just how it is. That's the game of crypto. So just paying attention to that, looking at the big trends of things and paying attention to the coins in terms of their own trends, you're going to be smarter than 99.9% of the space, because the rest of them are very reactionary, very in the moment, very much getting their news from Twitter, which only just dropped, 20 seconds ago. And it's already too late by the time it's hitting Twitter. Twitter is the new CNBC, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of, getting your news sources from. Maybe you'll get a gem here and there, but I'm not convinced it's the way to do it anymore, especially during periods like these where we see a drop in, the big daddy Bitcoin and everybody's freaking out. And then they're FOMOing into these terrible, I'm not touching microcaps right now. Crypto moonshots kind of off the table right now, because For example, go to the subreddit crypto moonshots. It's totally a shill city right now. There's nothing of quality there as far as I'm concerned. There's nothing worth touching. It's all paid bots and all that stuff. It's garbage because no one's taking those sorts of chances right now. Everybody's a little bit risk averse. So we want to be making the big plays right now, so that when we do see an uptrend, and Bitcoin's going back up to 60 and 70 and 80, that's when everybody's going to get greedy again. That's when the crypto moonshots are going to be back on the table, back on the menu. But until then, I think it's more our prerogative to be looking at the big trends, be looking at these, I'm going to call them the summer blockbusters as far as what's coming up, down the line. So, all right, let's look at the charts and then we'll take some questions and then get out of your hair.
Hey, so I wonder if, did you notice on there, did Dogecoin list Elon Musk hosting Saturday Night Live this Saturday?
Oh, no, I did not.
Yeah, that's actually, I'm curious as to see whether or not Elon is going to shill for Doge this Saturday. So keep in mind. We'll talk about Dogecoin in a second here. So again, my name is Doc, and I am the idiot savant technical analyst that's part of this team. Because what I've learned over time is that I don't really care that much about the fundamental use case for any particular coin because it's already priced in to the mix right now today. So we'll take a look here and see if we can get into, let's try the other one here. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at the charts here, just five or six charts. And if you guys have any requests for that, let me get my magic pen going here. And right now, what I want to look at is Bitcoin versus the US dollar. And we have transitioned into a downtrend right now on the daily chart. So don't let that freak you out because that's okay. But what this has to do in the near term is if we go down to the 5-hour chart, we can see a little bit more structure here. And we can see this bear flag that I called out to our members last week. And I said, don't let this freak you out. It's just a halfway house in the middle of a swing to the downside. Now, the important price level is right around up here, about 57,000, 58,000 or so. The price has got to get up and over that level if we're to assume an uptrend is kicking in. So it may not be able to do this on the first shot. So what might happen is you might see the price start to dive again, and that builds up the negativity one more time. And that's necessary because if you want the price to go higher, many times you have to go lower first. One step back, two steps forward. You have to build up that negativity that creates the opportunity for a short squeeze. And that would also, for those of you that love charts, this is also going to build that inverted head with shoulders pattern, which is going to head up into this level. So you can break things down into different time frames and things, but right now I am not concerned about this. This to me is just a weekly pullback. This is just a weekly pullback so far. And it's been, I wouldn't say reversed so far, but it's in the process of looking pretty good. So no problem there. Mav talked about Ethereum breaking out. And one thing you have to understand with Ethereum is that this is just a big cup with handle pattern. So what you want to do is you want to take the depth of this cup, which is about 1,300 points, and extrapolate that to the upside. And what we have is a target up here at about 2,700. And we're just about there. We're just about there for Ethereum at about 27. In fact, I think we already have hit that. So it wouldn't surprise me to see this lead into an extended consolidation pattern. I would not be chasing Ethereum up at this level. If I was still holding it, then continue to hold it, raise your stops, do whatever. You can see the price come down as far as 1,400, and that's still a valid retest. I doubt that it's going to happen at this point. What I would prefer to see is a high and tight consolidation. Oh, let's try this again. High and tight consolidation up in this area, and that would be very, very constructive. Next one I want to look at is actually Dogecoin, because a Dogecoin, what you have to be careful of here is this is a potential setup for a lower high. A lower high is actually one of the most devastating technical patterns that's out there. Okay, so we've already gone through the pullback and it's bounced up. And so at this point, everybody is sitting back on their heels and just being complacent, right? Oh, we bought the dip. This is where these show up. All of a sudden, the lower high sets up. Just when everybody thinks that this is going to bounce, the lower high sets up and just completely craters to the downside. So what I would say is watch out for the 25-cent level versus the US dollar. So Doge versus the US dollar at 25 cents. If that does not hold, then get out quickly and just treat Doge as a trade, which is really what you should be doing in the first place. So watch out for that level. Otherwise, continue to hold your stops above that level. That's fine. That's Dogecoin. Another one to watch out for here is Solana. This one's super strong lately. Look at the volume. Notice what's happening with the volume. The volume is increasing as it's going higher. And that's good. That's a good sign. You want to see that disagreement. You want to see that people in pain drive volume. People in pain also drive price movement like this. And so small bull flag up here. I think it's a little extended. I wouldn't mind seeing this set up for another week or so for Solana, but this one looks super good right now. Okay, a couple other ones here. Uniswap is very, very strong. This is broken out of a multi-week consolidation pattern above 38. That looks good. And let's see, the last one that I had here, if I could find it down here, is somewhere down here. Ah, there it is. Okay, Decentraland is another one which is actually very, very strong right now. So this is an ascending triangle pattern, which set up an initial break to the upside, failed and retested. But this one does look very, very good so far. It is a relatively inexpensive coin, so a lot of interest. However, I'm not seeing a lot of volume in this. Volume would completely, complete the picture, I would say here for this one. Now, one thing that came in while I was setting this up is, let's see if I can find this. This is the first time I'm looking at this. Somebody requested FIL. Okay, and this one looks okay. This one looks to be setting up a weekly bull flag, which is not that bad. And we can draw a fib retracement on here. Fib retracement will give us an idea of just the nature of the swing. So from tip to tail, the price is held to 50% retracement, which is where I'd like to see it hold in this area. It can continue to do this while the energies build up again, but this is probably going to stay in this pattern for at least another couple of weeks or so until it's built up the energy to be able to break out. So these linear moves like this take an enormous amount of energy up that. Imagine if you were just to sprint up a mountain, how gassed you would be. You'd be holding your sides for quite a few minutes before you're ready to go again. And this is essentially what the market is doing. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to flip it back here to the both of us here, and we will take any closing questions for today's session. Thank you very much for your patience.
Yeah, so there was a really great question about, how you would allocate a portfolio, especially using this strategy. And I guess what I would preface, or if you're not aware of this strategy, it's sort of like the golden, rule or portfolio strategy historically has been, you've got stocks and bonds and they're counter correlated. And so you kind of allocate based off of your risk tolerance. And I guess the rule of thumb is to subtract from 100 your age, and that's how you allocate bonds versus stocks. And that's the historic way of, building a portfolio for retirement and blah, blah, blah. You might know about this, but it's kind of dead right now, as far as I'm concerned, or just it is not working. And I challenge you to kind of use the same sort of strategy as it relates to risk versus risk off in this space. So I want to be allocating the majority of my portfolio to the largest cap coins, the biggest ones out there, because they're just going to appreciate value. There's not going to be a whole lot of risk that, if I get into something in the top 20 right now, that a year from now, it's not going to be in the top 20. Very rarely does that list kind of shift around. Yeah, there's going to be they're leapfrogging each other all the time, but very rarely does a coin lose prominence like that, especially once it makes to the top 10. So I'd be allocating the majority of my portfolio to that. I would only be allocating a small amount of my portfolio to the really risky stuff, especially like the moonshots, as I was describing, simply because I don't want to get blown up. I'm treating crypto in this moment as the retiring generations have treated real estate. I'm going to be putting the majority of my wealth into just wealth appreciating assets that are going to just over time, yield tons of great dividends. And then I'm going to take some chances with a little bit of that. But overall, I'm going to be taking the majority of my portfolio and moving it in ways that are not going to get me blown up, are not going to, burn down the house. I just want to be slowly accumulating that. Whereas the small stuff, the needles in the haystack, yeah, I can be putting some, $1,000 plays at that here and there. But let me make this point more clear. I have a list here of all the hedge funds operating in the crypto space. And I can't really show it to you, but I'll just zoom through it really fast. And the thing is, if you went through this and you looked at all these different hedge funds and what they're allocated in, what are these hedge funds? What are these guys that are literally doing this every day and have tons of money to put aside and, people to represent? Where are they allocating their portfolios? Where are they putting their risk? And by far, the majority of them are not going anything outside of the top 50. And so if you're doing that, you have to take not only the risk, but you have to say that you're smarter than these hedge fund guys and you know better than them. And cool, as Wall Street Bets showed, you totally can do that. There is definitely an opportunity for you to do so, but you have to understand that as far as risk is concerned in this space, stepping outside the top 50 comes with a lot of that, especially once you get into like the 300s. And so it gets really crazy really fast. So anyways, hopefully that kind of makes sense as it relates to this. I want to be taking slow, deliberate moves with the majority of my portfolio, and sort of the fast, risky stuff. I can play with, risk capital, but I want to be careful, basically is what I'm trying to say. Okay. We got some other ones. To the guy who was saying that apparently I don't know enough about Cardano because, I'm not aware or, informed enough about their release tomorrow, which is going to be the biggest thing that's ever happened in the blockchain space. Okay. Well, I
saw that on some graffiti on a bridge the other day. He was talking about that.
I don't want to, break your luster or anything like that. It's cool to believe in something, especially in this space. This space is built on belief and, believing in innovation. But the thing is, everybody claims that. Everybody thinks they got the next big thing. And by and large, it doesn't work out like they hope so. And that's kind of the reality of things. We have to move fast and break stuff, especially in a space like this. That's not saying Cardano is a bad project. That's not saying that, maybe they are releasing something truly big tomorrow. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to go all in on a project like that. I want to be taking kind of a diversified approach to stuff and, making smart investments. And if I can't adequately tell you where Cardano is going to be in a year or what the real impact of that release they're putting out tomorrow is going to be, I'm sorry. It's just not worth, putting so much faith into something like that. I'd much rather take a diversified approach, even if it seems like Cardano is really doing some cool stuff. So that's just the nature of stuff. Be careful putting all your eggs in basket like that, either from a capital perspective or like a faith perspective, because this space is just littered with dead projects and broken dreams and broken promises. So just be careful. Okay, cool. Let's talk about a couple more, and then we'll get out of here. Okay, lots of Doge father stuff.
Yeah, I'm going as fast as I can here, looking up stuff.
We got a very active chat today, which I love, but makes it hard to take questions. Sorry, guys.
So I do love the VeChain versus US dollar. I think that's a great looking chart. It's in it's look at the volume is, I'm going to throw this over here just for a second, Mav. The volume on this one is expanding as it's moving into consolidation. This is a wonderful chart. And this is, so this is setting up for a larger time frame consolidation. This is all very good. This is exhausted right now. So I would expect to see this bouncing in between like 14 to 26 cents for a while here, which is all very, very positive. All right, back to the middle here.
All right.
Already talked about Solana earlier on.
Yeah, and we talked about Uniswap v3. So
already
for those who are just tuning in,
yeah.
The list of the projects I was talking about is linked in the bio below. So go check that out. Come be a part of our new platform. It's free to join. We're doing some really cool stuff. We got a couple other great platforms for you to join free down in the bio below. So come join us, be a part of our community, come join our Discord, all this sort of good stuff. We're just giving it away for free because we believe in having a high quality space, doing high quality stuff, and not really getting into this like shill city stuff. Yeah, I've talked about Matic and Polygon a couple times in these streams, and only good things to say about it. They're doing a rebranding. They're trying to make, they're trying to do Polkadot on Ethereum, which I think is good. Interoperability, scalability is one of the biggest things blockchain crypto needs to solve. And projects like Matic, Polygon have shown that they're doing really cool stuff. Same thing with like Polkadot. Same thing with the Cardano. Again, I'm not saying bad stuff about Cardano. I'm just saying, be careful.
The volume on Matic, it looks fantastic. That is a great sign to see all that volume coming in and the price appreciating like that. That is super. Very, very good.
Alrighty. Well, cool, guys. We've hit the 40-minute mark, and I think we're both getting a little bit parched here. So we appreciate you hanging out with us. Again, we've got a ton of resources in the bio below. We're just trying to make this space better. We're just trying to, bring you the highest quality stuff without the fluff. Oh man, I'm gonna write that down. That was really good. That was totally off the cuff. All right, that means I need to go.
You must be chuffed.
No, but for serious, it's fun hanging out with you guys. I really appreciate this. We do this every Wednesday. We were talking about lists of coins that you should be watching every Wednesday, as well as what's going on in the markets, what you should be watching from the charts. So yeah, definitely hang out with us. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. We're almost at 100,000. Please help me get there. I'd love to have that little plaque. I'd love to just share that with you guys. And yeah, as always, thank you so much for being a part of this community. It's such a pleasure to have this as a medium to talk to you and talk about crypto and geek out on it. So yeah, hope you guys are doing well, and yeah, have a good rest of your week. It's gonna be good.
All right. See you, boys and girls. Everybody be good. Take care,
Cheers,
folks.
guys.
See you next week.
Bye, guys.